Welcome friends. Today's our topic of discussion is sonnet number 29 by William Shakespeare. It is one of the most discussed and famous sonnet written by William Shakespeare. Let us see an introduction to the sonnet. There are very few sonnets which capture the interior of life with which such an unflinching honesty as sonnet number 29. Sonnet number 29 traces the speaker's descent into self-pity and the quiet and unexpected moment when a single thought of love reverses everything. The sonnet is about the experience of isolation, envy, and despair through which the speaker of the poem has gone through. It has been rendered in the verse with a striking psychological clarity. The next thing that has been discussed over here in this sonnet is the redemption. Love's memory somewhere intervenes and transforms the wretchedness of the speaker into something which is richer than the royal wealth. The sonnet has been written in the period of Renaissance. It has been sometimes been called as the Renaissance soul, as the sonnet somewhere replicates the psychology of the society of the time. It has been published in 1609. Sonnet number 29 emerged from an era of an extraordinary creative energy, yet also of profound personal anxiety. The English Renaissance was a time of political instability, shifting social hierarchies, and the intense philosophical inquiry into the nature of the self. Petrarchan sonnet, imported and transformed by English poets. The present sonnet has also been written in the Petrarchan style by Shakespeare, but it has been transformed by Shakespeare uh, as per the can say needs of the readers and need of the genre that is being found in English language. It became this vehicle for the exploring such inner turbulences which have been somewhere searched and explored in this sonnet too. Shakespeare inherited the form and pushed it to new emotional extremes. It is being found, can say in sonnet number 29. Now, let us listen the reading of the sonnet number 29. Listen the reading carefully.
Sonnet 29, When in Disgrace with Fortune and Men's Eyes, by William Shakespeare. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself, and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contented least. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Sonnet number 29. When in disgrace with a fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state. Here the speaker in the poem, in the very first line, makes it clear that he does not feel himself to be fortunate. Somewhere he feels that people around him are more fortunate than him, and somewhere he feels that he is a person, one who is having with an outcast state. It means that the people, those who have been around him, have got more favorable conditions, more favorable situations than the speaker in the poem. Somewhere the speaker in the poem feels that he is somebody, one who is not being favored by fortune. Somewhere he feels that people looked up down upon him as he does not possess property, money, power position, friends in certain numbers. And somewhere he makes it clear that even though he has cried, even though he has, uh, you know, uh, prayed to God, somewhere he is not being listened by God. In line number third, when we read the line number third, we come to know that what exactly he feels about his, can say, outcast state. He says that I trouble deep heaven with my bootless cries. Somewhere he makes it clear that he tried to convey the kind of a rejection that he has in his mind. He has tried to convey to the God in the heaven that why he is not being given the fortune as the others have got, the kind of possessions that others have got, the kind of relations, the kind of friends that the others have got, and look upon myself and curse my fate. And he makes it clear that somewhere he feels dejected over there. He looks down upon himself as if he is unfortunate person, as if he is unlucky person, and somewhere he curses his own fate for the kind of, can say, uh, lackings that are over there in his life, in form of money, in form of property, in form of number of relatives, in form of number of friends, as the others have, can say, got around him in the society, wishing me like to the one more rich in hope. And somewhere he wishes that somewhere in future he may get what he has not got yet. And somewhere he feels that one day or the other he may, fortune may favor him, he may get all that he, can say, desires to have, which the others have got in their lives. Featured like him with the friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's hope. From this line it is clear that the speaker in the poem is somewhere envious of the people, those who are artists or those who possess certain skills which the speaker in the poem does not possess. That man's scope, or he somewhere is of jealous of the opportunities that some people around him in the society have got and which he could not get. With what I most enjoy, contented least, and ate in this thought of myself almost despising. Somewhere it is being made clear by the speaker in the poem that somewhere he feels despised of the people, those who have got certain skills, certain expertises in certain arts, those who possess friends, those who are favored by fortune, those who possess property, money, power positions, and the other things. Happily I think on thee, and then my state. And somewhere he makes it clear that all of a sudden uh, he start to think of his beloved and his own, can say, condition in the life, uh, as he possesses a very beautiful and faithful beloved in his life, like to the lark at the daybreak arising. And somewhere when the, can say, day breaks, when sun, rises, skylark takes a leap into the sky, somewhere expressing his joy at the out at the, can say, daybreak. And just like the skylark, the speaker in the poet says that all of a sudden when I started to think of you and my state, just like the skylark, I became very much jubilant to think that the others do not possess a faithful and beautiful beloved as I possess. And somewhere it is clear from this can say line that though the speaker in the poem somewhere feels himself to be unfortunate one, but suddenly he realizes that he is more fortunate than the others, as he has got the beautiful and faithful beloved as his life partner, and from the sullen earth and sings high at heaven's gate. And somewhere he expresses the kind of a change that has come up there into his thinking when he started uh, to think of his beloved and the state of can say their love. He makes it clear that just like skylark, which becomes very much happy to see that nowadays breaking and earth is somewhere can say coming out of the darkness that has been prevailed over there, and it can say somewhere sings over there in the sky. And the speaker in the poem says that just like that skylark that uh, sings hymn at a haven gate when the day can say break takes place over there. In the same way he makes it clear that when I realize that others may dare to possess power, others may dare to possess property, others may dare to possess certain number of friends, several number of friends, several number of relatives, which I do not possess. Others may dare to possess certain skills over there. Some may be very much expert artists in their lives. Some might have got the opportunities that he might not have got. But when he compares all these things with uh, his love life, particularly the kind of a beloved that he has got, somewhere he feels that he is more fortunate than the others in this case. And somewhere he feels that he is the most can say richest person in the world. Somewhere he feels that he is having with a kind of a possession that the royal families, means prince, kings, emperors may have. And he somewhere makes it clear that he feels more can say richer than even the kings when he thinks of his love life. For thy sweet love remembered with such wealth brings that I scorn to change my state with the kings. And here in these two, can say last lines means the, can say couplet of the sonnet, last couplet of the sonnet. The speaker in the poem makes it clear that how all of a sudden he has started to think that he is richer than the kings when he thought of the sweet love that is over there in his life, when he started to think of his beloved and the kind of a beloved that he has got and the others have not. And here we find that this sonnet, sonnet number 29, somewhere portrays the psychological journey of the speaker in the poem, one who feels very much uh, isolated, very much depressed, very much can say envious of the people around, just because he feels that somewhere fortune does not favor him. And the kind of uh, opportunities that others have got, he has not got. The kind of property, power positions that the people around have got, but he has not got. The he feels that the people have got around him, can say have got several numbers of friends and relatives, as there is the scarcity of all these relations in his life. He also feels so envious of the people, those who possess certain artistic skills, and those who are expert in certain arts, and those he also feels envious of the people, those who have got opportunities in their life in order to get all these things in their life. But suddenly, sudden realization takes place, and he, can say, realizes that he has got something which all these people have not got, and that is the can say faithful, beautiful beloved the kind of a, can say, love life that he has got that others have not got. And sudden, can say, change takes place from despair to happiness. Now let us see what are the themes that have been handled over there in this poem by Shakespeare. Somewhere the most prominent theme that has been handled by Shakespeare, that is the weight of the world. Why the speaker in the poem feels despair? Why the speaker in the poem feels isolated? Why the speaker in the poem feels envious? Just because there is a weight of the world on his mind. He compares himself with the others. He compares with the people, those who have got ample, can say, property, and he feels himself, can say, to be unfortunate. In the same way, he compares himself with the people, those who have got several friends, and he finds that he is not as fortunate as they are. In the same way, he, can say, compares himself with the people, those who possess certain, can say, expertise, certain, can say, artistic skills. And when he looks at himself, he feels, somewhere sorry over the state in which he is, that as he does not possess any artistic skill. So here, somewhere, what makes the speaker in the poem uh, feel isolated, depressed, envious of the others, that is the weight of the world, because he now and then is under the weight of the world. The next theme uh, that has been handled over in this poem is despair and self-pity. The opening lines of the sonnet number 29, portray a profound unhappiness of the speaker. The speaker weeps alone, curses his fate, feels utterly forsaken. That has been stated over there in the first two lines of this sonnet. The next theme that has been handled over there in this poem is envy and desire. Somewhere the speaker in the poem is envious of the, can say, kind of a things that others have got. He somewhere covets others' hope, friendship, talents, and prospects a restless catalog of what he lacks. Somewhere the the source of the envy and desire that is over there in his mind is the, can say, something what he, can say, lacks over there, that has been catalogued by him, and that is why a restlessness that has prevailed in his life, that has been, can say, captured by the poet, and that theme has been handled over. The next theme is the Holta. Holta means a decisive turn. When we read the poem, we come to know that at a line of number 9, there is a decisive change that has come up over there in the thinking of the speaker in the poem. One who was feeling isolated, one who was feeling himself to be unlucky, unfortunate, suddenly start to think of himself to be fortunate one when he looks at the kind of a love life that has been given by the nature, by God to him. Uh, he has got a very beautiful and faithful beloved in his life as the others have not got. And a sudden change comes up over there in his mental state. From the despair, isolation, he becomes very much happy. That is also one of the theme, the decisive turn that has been depicted over here by the poet. Redemptive love, somewhere the love that is there in the life of the speaker in the poem is a redemptive love. Somewhere it transforms him from the isolated, dejected person, envious person, to happy uh, person, to a person one who feels that he has also got something that others do not have got. Somewhere he start to feel richer than the others. When we read this sonnet, we come to know that this sonnet is written by Shakespeare, and that is why it falls into the category of the Shakespearean sonnet. Shakespearean sonnet possesses a unique structure. Sonnet is a poem that has been written in 14 lines with a fixed traditional structure. It adheres it to precisely. When we read this sonnet, we come to know that this sonnet is being written in a iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter means a pair of two sonnets, sorry, two syllables that are being repeated over there for 5 times. Traced and untraced bits are there in alteration, and they are being uh, repeated for 5 times. And this is how iambic pentameter, this meter is being can say formed over there. When we read this sonnet, this sonnet also possesses the hallmark of Shakespeare's rhyme scheme. When we read Shakespeare's any sonnet, we come to know that there is a certain, can say fixed rhyme scheme that is being followed over there. That is of a AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. The present sonnet also uh, has the same rhyme scheme. Three quartets and two couplets. This is how is the division of can say lines into uh, stanzas that has been done by Shakespeare. Three line, three stanzas of 4 lines, which build the argument, and the couplet delivers a resolution. This is the normal can say structure that is being found over there in the Shakespearean sonnets, and this sonnet also follows that particular structure. This sonnet is not an exception to the Shakespearean sonnets structure. When we look at the sonnet, we find that in order to portray the emotions of the speaker in the poem, certain literary devices have been used by Shakespeare, particularly certain figures of speech and imagery. Uh, the first figure of speech that has been used by the poet Shakespeare is metaphor. The speaker's transformed spirit is compared to lark, rising from the earth, a soaring and musical image of the sudden joy. And this is how the can say metaphor of lark, skylark, has been used over there in order to show the transformed spirit of the speaker. Next figure of speech that has been used by Shakespeare is alliteration. Alliteration means a kind of a figure of speech in which certain consonant sounds are being repeated, and musicality is being given, a rhythmic weight is being attached to the poem. When we read the present poem, the bootless cries and fortune and men's eyes, these can say lines somewhere lend musicality, a rhythmic weight to the speaker's lamentation. Next figure of speech that has been used by Shakespeare, that is personification. Here, a phrase that has been used, that is of deep heaven. Heaven is here rendered as an indifferent listener, capturing the anguish of the prayers that feel utterly unanswered. Somewhere here, this heaven, that is abstract, can say element that has been endowed with certain human qualities, that is of being deaf to something, not to listen, not to listen to something that is being addressed to a person. Next literary device that has been used by the poet is imagery. Imagery means a picture that is being constructed, erected with the help of certain words, which have been, can say, placed into particular order uh, by following a certain kind of a choice by the poet in order to create a mental picture into the minds of the readers, as and when they would read that poem, the particular can say, picture may can say get erected in their mind, and that is why uh, imagery is being used. Here we find that there are certain phrases which can say are being used as imageries. Outcast state, this can say phrase somewhere erects a particular kind of a mental picture. Radiance of the dawn, move from dark earth to luminous sky. All these phrases are images which have been used by the poet into this poem. When we read this poem, we find that the Shakespeare sonnet number 29 deliberately can say structures a particular kind of a journey. It portrays a deliberate emotional journey of the reader, one who experiences isolation, envy, dejection, and sudden change comes up over there, and he becomes happy. So that emotional arc has been somewhere over there created by the poet very carefully. Very carefully, the poet portrays the journey of the dejected, isolated speaker into a very much happy uh, speaker in the poem. Now let us see the meaning of the poem, that is sonnet number 29. Line number 1 to 4, somewhere lament. It is a lamentation of the speaker of what he has not got in his life. The speaker is shown disgraced, isolated, spiritually abandoned. His prayers reach no one, even heaven, even God in the heaven does not listen to his prayers that has been portrayed over here. He is in the fullest sense alone with his failure that has been portrayed over here in the first four lines. Means into the first, you can say, um, quadrant of the poem. The next quadrant, that is line number 5 to 8, lines 5 to 8, somewhere portray envy. The kind of a envy that the speaker in the poem feels for the others. The speaker in the poem envious of the unnamed, can say other persons, because they are hopeful for their looks, for the kind of a friendship that they have got in their lives, for the kind of a talents that they possess. Even his own pleasure have turned into hollow and joylessness just because he feels envious of the others. That has been portrayed over here in the second couplet of the poem. Now, when we look at the can say remaining lines, there is a kind of a transformation that has been portrayed over here from line number 9 to 14. In the line number 9 and 10, a sudden change that has come up over there that has been can say portrayed over here, somewhere from the point of the nadir to the point of can say climax that has been the portrayed over here in line number 9 to 10. Somewhere from self contempt and can say despair, suddenly the speaker in the poem has started to think of the kind of possessions that he has in form of love, in form of beloved, one who is faithful and beautiful. A sudden change that has been over there that has come up into the thinking of the poet, speaker in the poem, that has been portrayed over here in line number 9 and 10. Line number 11 and 12 somewhere describe as and how the speaker in the poem becomes very much happy. Somewhere he has been compared with skylark. When the day can say breaks, means when the sun rises, the skylark somewhere celebrates that the earth has can say come out from the darkness to the light. and that is being can say celebrated by the bird skylark as it can say takes a leap toward toward the sky, and it can say sings over there while can say flying in the sky. In the same way, the speaker feels when he suddenly realizes that he has got uh, the most fortunate thing in the life that the others have not got, that is love, and particularly faithful love, faithful beloved, beautiful beloved. Lines number 13 and 14 means the last concluding couplet somewhere depicts the kind of wealth that the speaker in the poem has got, and the awareness of this wealth that has taken place over there in the mind of the speaker in the poem. Because a sudden can say change, decisive change comes up over there, and he start to feel that he's more can say wealthier than even the kings and emperors, as he has got a very much can say beautiful and faithful beloved. When we read this poem, we find that this poem falls into the category of the fair youth sonnets written by Shakespeare. Sonnet number 29 belongs to the sequence of 126 sonnets addressed to a young man, the so called fair youth, whose identity has provoked centuries of scholarly debates. The sequence is among the most intimate and psychological complex in the English language. Within this context, the beloved in sonnet number 29 is not a distant ideal but an immediate presence in the speaker's emotional life. Someone whose remembered affection is sufficient to overturn the world's entire judgment. And this is how the can say the sonnet falls into the category of fair youth sonnets. When we think of the critical reception of this sonnet across the centuries, we find that the emotional honesty that has been over there into this sonnet, somewhere that captures the attention of the critics over the time. And critics have long admired sonnet number 29, refusal to sentimentalize despair. Shakespeare gives grief its full weight before offering any relief, and the honesty is precisely what makes the turn so believable. And when we find that from line number 9, a sudden can say turn has taken place from the despair to happiness, that has been beautifully portrayed by Shakespeare, and this emotional honesty has captured the attention of the critics across the world over the time. Universal resonance, when we read this poem, that this poem is a universal can say resonance of the experience that human beings go through. The poem's central experience, feeling overlooked, outpaced, and unworthy, speaks directly to the readers across every era and social condition, which accounts for its remarkable endurance. We find that this sonnet is of a tremendous academic significance. We find that the sonnet is being read for the emotional argument and the emotional honesty that has been portrayed over here in this sonnet by William Shakespeare. When we think of the sonnet, we find that there are certain things beyond the words that this sonnet captures over there. The sonnet reminds us that even in our darkest moments, a shift in a perspective often brought about by love or genuine human connection can fundamentally alter our outlook on everything we thought we knew about ourselves. And this is how this is the can say sonnet that can say somewhere gives certain lessons that uh, a certain can say change in your perspective may start you to think of your life in a positive senses. The lesson of Volta is over here in the sonnet, that a sudden change that comes up in the thinking of a person may make that person from dejected, isolated person to a happy person. Can say a person, one who feels himself to be fortunate enough than the others. Somewhere the sonnet portrays the condition of a common human being as a state beyond the kings. The speaker in the poems start to think that he is more wealthier than the kings when he suddenly start to think of his love life, his beloved, his beautiful and faithful beloved. At that time, he thinks that he has more wealth than the royal, can say persons may have in their lives. That may be prince, king, or emperor. Sonnet number 29 endures because it maps a journey of every reader, one who recognizes the long, lonely road of self doubt and the extraordinary moment when love simply remembered renders all of it insufficient to diminish us. And somewhere there are certain takeaways in this sonnet when, as a readers, we can say read it, that a true love and genuine connections are not only can say consolations, but they are the source of can say happiness in one's life. Thank you, friends. Thanks for watching.